Doom 3 is a spooky action shooter released in 2004 by id Software. In this video, I'll be referring to the re-release known as BFG Edition, but a majority of the content is relevant to both versions of the game. My name is Pinello, and when I think about horror FPS, Doom 3 always comes to mind. Despite its age, the game is still impressive to this day for its excellent atmosphere and sense of immersion. id Tech 4 was a revolutionary engine for the time, and it allowed Doom 3 to feature dynamic lighting and shadows. The developers were able to create an oppressive atmosphere by combining a cold industrial setting with intense darkness. The story is essentially a soft reboot of the series, and we kick things off in the year 2145 at a military research facility on Mars. We take control of a silent marine, the new Doom guy, and right off the bat this game wastes no time establishing the tone and pace of the experience ahead.
Welcome to Mars City, Union Aerospace's premier research facility. To expedite your processing, please proceed directly to reception.
You're given plenty of freedom to speak to NPCs, explore the reception area, and interact with various novelty mechanics. Everyone here has a lot to say.
Welcome to the dungeon, brother. Enjoy your stay. You sure are curious, aren't you? Yeah, this is what I do all day.
Which will reinforce the strong feeling of immersion. You can even control computers and terminals within the context of the game, as if Doom Guy himself is operating the screens. One of my absolute favorite moments of this intro happens while you're casually descending into the facility.
The equipment seems to be affected by something unseen.
Suddenly, most of the lights go out and the player is thrust into complete darkness. This is how the game pledges to be dark and warns the player that they can only truly rely on their own light. In the 2004 version of Doom 3, the flashlight was on the weapon wheel and it wasn't possible to fire a weapon and use the light at the same time. In BFG Edition, the flashlight has been attached to the player and can be activated hands-free with the press of a button. This means you can fire weapons and use a flashlight together, and some players do not like this change. Personally, I'm just happy to have my very own dynamic light generator at all times. You'll have to manage the battery, but it'll simply recharge as long as the flashlight is turned off.
Hey! You're looking for the scientist, right? I'm not sure you want to find him. You see... never mind.
This whole beginning section is almost like playing an immersive sim. It's pretty obvious that inspiration was taken from Half-Life because Doom 3 tries very hard to capture that same sense of presence in the game world by offering the player so many different ways to interact with it. My favorite aspect of this opening is the gradual escalation of tension because we all know it's a Doom game. The mundanity can't last forever and we're anxiously waiting for the other shoe to drop. I love how the employees are dropping hints that some hell shit is about to go down and you just have to walk straight into it.
Huh? No, please. You must let me get this communication out. They have to be warned while there is still time. I can't let... You don't know what I've seen. You can't possibly understand or comprehend.
The devil is real.
I know. Built his cave.
I'm getting abnormal readings here. This is bad.
Oh, God!
We can't hold these levels. We're losing it!
Help us!
Once you find a missing researcher, the first objective of the game, Doom 3 finally blossoms into a dark and sinister first-person shooter. The evil forces of hell invade the facility, transforming the workers and soldiers into zombies right before our eyes. I feel like very few games can match this level of chaos and rapid dismantling of comfort and security. As a horror experience, Doom 3 excels. As a shooter, I can't really say the same thing. The first weapon is an awful pistol, but it's our only means to take down the first enemies. The pistol just feels weak, and it sounds even weaker, but it gets the job done. I mean, I like how bizarre it looks. The next weapon is a basic shotgun, and it's hilarious to me how inconsistent this thing is. The pellet spread is so absurd that you basically have to be hugging an enemy if you expect to kill them. At a reasonably short distance, it's possible to waste 2 or 3 shots and barely hit your target. You really do need to stick this thing right up against an enemy, which can almost guarantee an instant kill. I'll admit though, I love flying through this game and one-shotting enemies, but this gun doesn't function correctly at all. It can legitimately be one of the most irritating things about Doom 3. And isn't it ironic that this game was given an update, like a re-release, but they never bothered to fix the shotgun? Our third weapon is a submachine gun, looking like a space-age P90. This is such an effective and reliable weapon that it overshadows the first two in every fucking way. Good fire rate, consistent damage, plenty of ammo, and super cool sounds and animations. This is hands down the workhorse gun during the beginning of the game, but you'll still find a use for the fucked up shotgun in close quarters. Even if the early guns are hit and miss, I promise that more interesting and fun options appear later on. Combat itself is actually pretty good. Each room of the facility functions sort of like a tiny arena, throwing enemies at you from the shadows. I enjoy the need for taking improvised cover and choosing shots wisely in order to avoid damage.
The UAC is here to help you. Psychological services are free and confidential.
Zombies are no problem, absolute pushovers. Possessed soldiers though, they make distinct sounds that always freak me out because they can actually shred your health with their weapons. I think it was so clever to give each enemy a sound cue, since they are sometimes hard to pinpoint in the darkness or behind corners. If you listen, you'll realize what you're up against and then choose a weapon that is best suited for dealing with that monster. We'll also run into Doom 3's version of the Imp, which is one nasty freak. And I'd just like to mention that I really appreciate that every enemy and weapon has been redesigned in such a distinct way that Doom 3 has a totally unique visual style compared to the rest of the series. Coming up next, there's also this remarkable section where you follow a little sentry robot as it absolutely destroys enemies that get in its way. It's super silly and it might stick with me forever, especially since there's an achievement just for escorting the bot without it dying. The opening hour or so is genuinely great, even if some of the game's weaknesses are already starting to show. I adore the atmosphere of the setting, but admittedly, things start to look very samey very quickly. I think it's too easy to get lost, and it can be unclear where you're actually supposed to go next. If you play this game, just know that you'll have to focus and commit stuff to memory while navigating it. In summary, the best qualities of Doom 3's intro compound to create something exceptional. id Software chose to subvert the rest of the series to deliver a more powerful horror experience, and for me, it really works. Doom 3 is slow and methodical, which is juxtaposed to the pure adrenaline rush of other Doom games. I can actually completely understand how a diehard fan of other Dooms could feel almost betrayed or something, since there is a justified expectation for Doom to be something fast and aggressive. However, for anyone who is willing to slow down and experience something totally fresh for the series, I absolutely believe Doom 3 delivers. Well, what do you think of Doom 3? Is it genius? Or is it blasphemous? Anyways, my name is Penello, and thank you so much for watching my video. See ya!